I have a question for Sergio about how to develop Grails applications for the Apple TV.
Grails is especially well suited to develop applications for Apple TV because it allows for easy rendering of XML thanks to markup views, and also it has the asset pipeline integration, which will allow you to handle JavaScript sources easily. Jeff, which options do we have for Grails monitoring?
Yeah, monitoring is important for Grails applications, and more folks want to build microservice architectures out with the Grails framework. So they want to be able to monitor all the pieces of that microservice architecture out there in the runtime. So we've got great options for that. So Grails makes it very easy to expose services and other beans as mbeans, which can be monitored and managed over JMX. And we're building a cool new plugin for Grails 3 that is built on top of DropWizard for doing monitoring and metrics. So we provide a declarative approach for marking blocks of code that you want to meter or keep track of how long certain things are taking or how often certain blocks of code are executing. So the DropWizard metrics plugin is in development now, and that's going to be, I think, an important part of how a lot of folks monitor and manage Grails applications in general, and microservice architecture stuff in particular. So I've got a question for Jacob. I'm interested in hearing what your experience was in getting Grails adopted in a government agency, and in particular, were there any challenges getting the government on board with using open source software?
So I'm gonna answer how the government in Denmark has reacted to open source, and especially Grails. And I have worked with the Danish Business Authority for a year and a half, a couple of years ago, and that worked pretty well. It was really awesome using Grails. We'd be able to use plugin structures so you can reuse code across all of those projects. And I really hope that they would have open sourced more of the stuff that had been worked there. But at least they're embracing open source, and that's a big plus. And now I have a question for Koen. And that is, what is your favorite groovy construct that you use when you do your puzzle questions and competitions?
Okay, so the question was, what's your favorite groovy feature? That would be closures, because when I make groovy puzzles, I can really make complex puzzles with closures that are not people are not able to read, and so they'll become very pissed when they read the puzzle. So Graeme, I have a question for you. Yesterday you were very enthusiastic about your newest additions to GRAEME, but what about unit testing? What benefits does it have for unit testing? Because I think that's really important. So I'm waiting.
The most important improvements to GRAEME for around unit testing are the fact that it's now completely independent from Grails, and we've added package scanning. So you literally do not need a custom specification class such as Hibernate spec or Mongo spec. You just extend specification, create a shared property with the data store, and your unit test is set up. We've also completely made the transaction annotations independent of GRAEME. So we've got add rollback and add transactional. So they're all usable within your unit tests without Grails itself. And that makes unit testing a lot simpler.